Hey YouTube, I'm Pretty Profound. I'm here today to show you a tutorial on a Bantu knot out. I'm in between hairstyles right now. I washed my hair about 4 days ago, so I just need something that looks cute until I'm ready to wash again, and also just to give me an opportunity to moisturize my hair again. Today the only products that I'm using is a bottle of regular tap water and Shea Moisture Deep Treatment Mask. This is a deep conditioner that can be rinsed out of your hair or left in. Today, as I said, I'm going to be leaving it in. I've already applied just a tiny bit of water, not to really get it damp, but just so that it's not dry, and a fingertip's worth of the Shea Moisture, which is a nice, rich, creamy substance. Has some hair in there, sorry. So, the process of the Bantu knot, which I will show you first, is you're going to take any section of hair. You can decide how you're going to section your hair, and I will also show you the breakdown of how I sectioned my own. But you're going to start by taking the section of hair and twisting it, either clockwise or counterclockwise, but you must be consistent, twisting it as close to the base as you can. And you continue twisting. And as you do this, you'll notice that your hair will start bending up onto itself, and that's exactly what you want it to do. So just work with that. I usually hold it with my other hand as I do this, just to make sure I get it nice and close, and twist it all the way to the end. And this end piece is what's going to keep everything in place. So you're going to wrap it around the base and tuck it through to hold it. And then you have a Bantu knot. As far as sectioning goes, what I did was I sectioned from about my ear down to the nape, all the way across this way. And I have two sections here and one section in the middle. I made 3 sections so that there wouldn't be a big part down the middle of my head that I would then have to go in and close up by playing around with my hair. So that's just my personal way of doing it. And then the next section I made was right on my temple here, and that was the Bantu knot I just showed you. So I'm going to do a few more with you and just talk to you a little bit about my product choices and why I do Bantu knotting this way. So what I am doing with the water is I'm just dampening up my hair enough to make it easy to section off, because I don't like to use combs in my hair if it's avoidable, because my hair is very prone to breakage, and combs, you know, they work through your hair to get out knots, and there's not really any real point in detangling to that extent for most natural hairstyles, in my opinion. So I just avoid combs altogether. And the way that I keep big knots and tangles out of my hair is when I wash my hair in the shower. That's a fingertip's worth of the Shea Moisture. When I wash my hair in the shower, I apply lots of rinse out conditioner, and I run my fingers through my hair sort of like this. And if I do find a little knot, I gently detangle it with my fingers. And so now you see again, twisting close to the base, and it's twisting up on itself. And by avoiding using combs, I retain more of my hair length and more of my hair health, because I'm not ripping through it. My hair is very, very fragile. So this is just the method that works best for me. So you can feel free to use a comb to make your parts, to detangle your hair as you go through it, whatever you're comfortable with, but I do not choose to do that. Alright, now this is the top section of my hair. So what I'm going to do is make one more section across, and then from after this section I'm probably going to make a side part so that my hair falls the way that I want it to. And as I was saying before, my hair is about 4 days post shampoo. So It's not very, very dirty, especially since I don't use products in my hair very often, but it's not super clean either. So I just sprayed a little water in my hair, like I said again, just to make it a little bit more manageable. And this one I think I am just going to go right down the middle, so I have two fairly equal sections. And it won't be hard to cover up that middle part because the hair on top is going to fall over it, so it won't be that big of a deal. And I'm just going to get a little bit more water on this. It's just better to have a little bit more moisture, a little bit of moisture I should say, on your hair instead of doing it bone dry, just so that the product can set better. So I just took a fingertip's worth and smushed it between my fingers and just working it through the hair. And the reason why I'm not using a lot of water in each of these sections is so that it'll dry, and I don't have to wait, sleep on it overnight or anything. Like, this will probably be done in the next 2 or 3 hours. So if you have to go out tonight, this might not be a bad idea. And if you're not afraid of heat, you could always sit under a dryer, hit it with the blow dryer. And so right now I'm just wrapping around. Okay, that knot is done. Second knot, use just a tiny bit of water. And I'm just running my hands over it now to distribute the water. Fingertips worth of the Shea Moisture. And this product, it smells really good too. So it's always nice when you can have a product that does something nice, is organic, and smells nice. Sort of a win-win. Win. The reason I use a lot of Shea Moisture products, because they have a lot of certified organic ingredients, and even if the other ingredients aren't organic, they are natural. So you're not going to find any chemicals, you're not going to find any perfumes or anything that could possibly strip moisture from your hair. Alright, and that Bantu knot is up as well. Okay, so now since this is closer to the front of my head now, I'm going to create a side part so my hair falls the direction that I want it to, which will be something like this. Okay. I'm just going to wet this a little bit so I can separate the hair easier. There we go. I'm going to work on the smaller side first. So just tie this up. Alright. And I'm probably, even though this is a fairly small section in comparison to the sections I did in the back, I'm actually going to split this in half just so I have more definition around my face. And it'll just make it look a little bit neater and prettier. Just making sure I have water on each strand so it's easier to separate. And I'm just going to tie up this other piece of hair out of the way so I can work on this one. And a little bit less for this one, so a little bit smaller sections. Work it through. And I actually have to go somewhere in a couple of days, so this hairstyle will probably last me through then, and I'll just have to reset it without the water and without adding any more products each night. And then it'll look good for me on the day I need it to. And it won't look as neat and perfect. It'll look more natural by that time. Because I don't know about you, but I don't really like those styles that look so deliberate. I like it to be a little bit messier, a little bit more like I just woke up looking like this kind of look. So, twisting very close to the base and letting it wrap around itself. And you gotta get that end wrapped around. Okay. Oh, dang, come on, I'm done. Let's try that again. Like my hair is a different texture from the front, it's a little bit more slippery. So I might actually pin this one just to make sure it stays. So I'm just putting this one down just so that I make sure it stays. So it's still kind of messy. I'm not using a mirror, so, but it's alright. It'll still get the essential effect I was going for. Okay, so this is my last big section, and going with that same idea from before, I make these sections a little bit smaller in the front here so it frames my face. So, I mean, when you're doing this and you're creating your sections, you really have to think about how you want your hair to look when it's done, because that will help you decide where you're going to be putting your sections so that your hair will fall the way you want it to. Okay? And I would, if you don't want to use water in your hair because you're already going to be detangling your hair and using combs, I would suggest maybe using a water-based gel, like a spray gel, and you'll get much more definition that way than using a thick leave-in conditioner. You could also use like raw shea butter and get a really, really great set that way as well. The product that I'm using can be found in Target stores if you live in New York City. You can also find it in some Dwayne Reed's. And all of their products are about $10 each. So, I mean, it's fairly affordable, and if you're like me and you don't like to use a lot of product, it's definitely worth the money because it'll last a long time. And I like the effect that it has on my hair as well. The hair feels moisturized, it doesn't feel stripped, it doesn't feel like heavily coated with product. It just feels like nice, healthy hair, which is exactly what I want. And as I said, I'm just adding the water so that my hair, I can sort of detangle it a little bit, and also just make it easier to apply the product in my hair. Just a little bit of the Shea Moisture, about a fingertip's worth, and working it through. And also, if your hair is clean and conditioned already, you probably wouldn't even need to add any moisture. You could just do this on your dry hair or slightly damp hair and still get a really good set out of it. That's the great thing about our hair, is that you actually don't need to use a lot of products, which means you can save some money, because products ain't cheap. Unless you're using like stuff out of your kitchen, which I may be looking into myself. Okay, so that knot is done. And it's like my bang section here. Don't know if I'm going to divide this or if I should do one big knot. I think I'm going to divide it just to really get that nice curl definition in the front. Just a little bit of water, make the hair more pliable. Don't need as much product for this section. Made this section a little bit wetter than I meant to, but it's alright. Alright, so we're almost done here. Might need to pin this one too, just for security. If I can find a small pin. Here we go. Just want to make sure it doesn't fall out on me, because I could feel it slipping as soon as my hand left it. Alright. And then on this section I just added a little bit more moisture to the ends of my hair, because it likes to, because you can see the front of your hair, so it tends to be the most manipulated part on a lot of people's heads, so you should pay extra attention to caring for it as well as manipulating it. Okay. I'm going to pin this because, as I was saying, I want to have it fall to this side. So I'm just going to make sure it does that with the pin. Okay. This one is falling out a little bit, so I'm just going to redo it. And as I said, because I didn't use a lot of water, this should finish setting within about 3 hours, maybe 4 hours even. But if I don't end up going anywhere for the rest of the day, then it'll just stay in like this overnight. And I'll take it out tomorrow. But in either event, I will show you my results as soon as it's dry. And we should see, what we're looking for is like some nice body waves out of this. Alright? This is how the knots look. Alright, so I'm going to let this set. As soon as it's done, I'm going to come back and show you the results. Alright, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you soon.